Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to Fusion Wellness TV. Today's honored and respected guest is a Shakti Sound Bath facilitator, a breathwork facilitator, a RTT therapist, and has chosen to call her business Shaina Rae Therapy. She's trying to change the way that we view therapy and is the new wave of the incoming flow. So let's welcome in Shaina Rae. Hey, Shaina.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing better than starting with some music.
Yes. Open it out.
Yes.
We're so grateful to have you on today. Just so grateful to personally know you as a friend. I wouldn't have thought our journeys would, lead to this point.
I know. Here's some prescription pills, and that just did not sit well with me. I just didn't want to go down the same path as my dad, so I just decided to keep searching and looking for answers, and I eventually ran into a functional medicine doctor who figured out that I had toxic mold exposure. I was in a water damaged building for a few years, and that led to mast cell activation syndrome, which was very wild for me. My biggest symptom was I felt like I had burning skin, just from my scalp to my toes. I felt like I had third-degree burns all over my body, and there was no rash, no nothing, only I could feel it. I couldn't wear clothes. I was wearing ice packs 24/7. It was a wild and heavy time, to say the least, and I decided to take a holistic route, but the detox process was still so incredibly painful, and it made me realize once I hit that rock bottom moment, I was just like, there has to be more to this than just mold. Like the timing of everything, it just didn't add up to me. So I just started to take it into my own hands and started researching the subconscious mind and our ability to heal ourselves. And after many different trial and attempts of many different modalities, I finally came up with an action plan that healed my chronic anxiety, depression, and I don't burn anymore. I still am detoxing the mold, but I'm not in pain anymore.
Wow.
So once I created this action plan, I just knew I needed to teach others how to do the same.
Well, we love that you took, here at Fusion Wellness, I can speak, but we love that you took the holistic route. Because that truly shows, too, that you were doing this for you. It wasn't for the doctors, it wasn't for, it was truly for you and your own healing journey and what was going to work.
Yeah, definitely.
And that in itself, to choose something with more of a solution-based approach.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this world today, we do rely heavily on doctors, and I'm not saying all doctors are bad. Like, I have a great functional medicine doctor, but sometimes you have to listen to your intuition. You can't always put, your life in someone else's hands. Sometimes you have to take that ownership and find what works for you personally, and that's what helped me go down this path.
But, well, the biggest thing, I think, what you were saying, Shaina, is like, there is beautiful things that can come from a doctor's perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is ultimately up to you how you process the information and what you do with that information that will lead you to a series of choices. And you chose to more, healing, holistic route.
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful to hear that, this is what led. I mean, it sounds like, even the aspect of RTT, which if you can just share what RTT is.
Yeah, so Rapid Transformational Therapy. So what my therapy is a combination of CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I know it's filled out work, moved him out of his house, did all of that stuff, and grieved during those 2 weeks. But as soon as I flew back home, I just shut down. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to show anyone that I'm in pain. I just didn't like showing that vulnerability to people. I always loved people coming to me, and I was just not, that was not something I normally would do, would just open up to someone and tell them what I was going through. So I just basically buried all of the pain, and I really genuinely thought I was doing my dad a disservice if I kept grieving him. I was like, oh, he wouldn't want me to be so sad, like I should keep living my life. But the fact that I didn't face that trauma and just go through the appropriate emotions tied to the event was the reason why I developed or manifested all of these painful symptoms on my body. So yeah, it was a pretty eye-opening experience for me, because that once I had that session and really understood that it was the grief that was holding me back, I just started working on the grief, and my pain started to get better. So yeah, that's what made me go, okay, I need to do this I need to become an RTT therapist, because what they showed me in one session absolutely changed my life. Yeah.
Well, how powerful, Shaina, too, to really access those subconscious beliefs of, as you said, I mean, it's interesting when you grow up in a household where you feel like that's being strong, and that's the illusion of strong. Totally. And that's all you're taught, right? That's all you've known. Yeah. And then you start to see, like, wow, actually, what I thought for 20 plus years really wasn't the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a shock to the system. I had to have my wake-up call manifest, like, in physical symptoms for me to realize that's not the way you should go about your life.
Just a healthier approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love how you said, because that's something, Shaina, personally, that I see with people, and that I went through in a different way, but with your father's passing. And we're grateful that you're sharing this with the viewers. Look how far she's come to be this vulnerable on camera.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it shows you guys.
Yeah, you guys can do it too. It's possible.
Hope.
Yeah.
And that's true healing. It gives you freedom that, if you have other traumas that come through, just because this is life,
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to happen at some point. You now have those tools to be able to facilitate your own self-healing and give yourself that space.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like the majority of us were always taught, like, bad emotions are scary, or bad emotions are things that you should avoid. It's just part of life. It's a part of nature that we have positive and negative emotions, and it's okay to go through both of them. We just need to know how to move through them successfully, and then we can move on with our lives. So it's just like that. We shouldn't press down. We should be able to just move through it, and we'll be okay. Almost like the way I think it's just how we have viewed the world, how we've grown up, is being upset or being sad or being angry are bad things, and they're not. It's just part of being human, and it's okay to feel those feelings. We just have to be able to feel them so we can heal them and move on. It's when we avoid the idea of, oh, I'm not angry, I'm really angry. That's when problem, right? It's like we have to just start being more honest with ourselves, and we'll be okay. Like, everything will work out the way it should. Like, it's so funny, because it's like, once you understand how to move through those emotions, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. It's just, that's just part of life.
Well, this, personally, Shaina, this is because we're on the RTT note, and I am so excited to share with you my personal experience with Shaina, because this goes hand in hand with the not allowing yourself to feel, like you said, those certain emotions.
Yeah.
And personally, for myself, for the last year, you guys have maybe seen from my social media account, it has been kind of an off and on, where I've been really, trying to move through my own insecurities and really figure out the root. I was working with different people, and I was, going to Sedona, and just like, I was really, trying to do as much work on myself as I could. But there was a side of it on the conscious level that I just it was deeper than that.
Yeah.
And that was the part of it where I was almost getting very frustrated.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put that, out there to, people, because I was still judging myself. There was still an aspect judging myself. And then yesterday, I just told myself, and as we started the session, guys, this is the biggest thing. So Shaina and I start, and she's guiding me, and we get to the steps, and because she will do the visualization techniques with you if you decide to proceed forward with Shaina. And it was like, I knew it, intuitively I was about to confront, something that had just been, deeper rooted, because I could feel the fear. And I opened my eye, and I remember I had a moment to choose, if I was going to proceed, because everything inside me, the response was just like, no.
And I could see her response. I was just like, all right, you got this. You're going to get through this.
Yeah. And it was just amazing to give myself finally that permission.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it was, of course, I had to move through that fear, because it's been one of my hindrances, is not fully allowing myself to confront that fear in a space where I could access, like with a guide, that's helping me access just that deeper part of myself. And letting it go, that there's someone in the room too that I'm connected to, letting go of any judgments of like, she knows me, like this is, like,
right, yeah.
She knows my business, is she gonna think things of me? I was just, I had to completely let it go. But that was a part of the trauma. That was a part of, it was all a part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And guys, got to more of a root within myself of my own emotional holding toward a figure in my life who, I've always been very connected to, and, is my father. And it was just, not having him in physical form, but just trusting whatever was coming through was for a purpose, and really not judging the anger that wanted to come through. And that was so big. You just even saying, have you ever fully felt that anger connected to this person? And that was so powerful. And it was like, no, I really haven't allowed myself since a child. It would get projected in different ways. And it would get projected through different addictions. It would get projected, and that's the thing, when we don't allow ourselves that space, it will get projected into, other experiences and manifest in different ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Chronic pain. Mine was previous addictions. This time around, it was like I was saying before, I was really trying on my own, and this is for the viewers, even if you feel like you've got a really good self-care practice and self-healing practice, there's always more that can be done.
Oh, absolutely.
There is, and sometimes it's just because a big part of my own belief systems and judgments were that it made me less than I was, because I've always been very strong. And as I loved its personal length too, like the length of duration of session, because we really got, to the root.
Yeah, we could take our time, and really understand it. It wasn't like a rush session where it's like, okay, we only have an hour, let's get out of here. It's like, no, like while we're here, while we're in your subconscious mind, which also I haven't explained is 95% of your thoughts are subconscious, but we can't work with our subconscious minds in a conscious state, which is why hypnotherapy and RTT hypnotherapy specifically creates these radical results, because you can do all this amazing work on a conscious level, and that supports your healing journey tremendously, but you also have to see what lies beneath, almost what those root causes are, or those underlying beliefs that have affected the way you see the world or how you interact with people. So we got to do that with you, and it was beautiful. It was amazing.
Thanks, Shaina. No, and I'm so grateful I got to share with you guys too. So that was the little, I just felt incredibly grateful that, you've chosen RTT as a part of your purpose here. And it's a beautiful transmutation of your own personal life experience too, and just what you bring forward for people.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's just such a fulfilling job for me, because I guide you, but you're the one that ultimately figures it out. I kind of just let you know where we're going, and you tell me what comes up for you, and you get to unpack it and really realize what beliefs you came up with or how you want to heal from it. So it's just empowering. And I feel like after the session, you feel lighter, which is incredible. You instantly feel that energetic release. But I think the more rewarding part about the session is that when you walk away from the session, you just start seeing the world different. You start having these so, I mean, she just had her session like 24 hours ago. So how's it been for you?
Well, it has, it was like, I noticed, because I told my partner immediately after our session, I go upstairs, he's upstairs in the office, and I just said, I go, I'm really, and it just started. And he even tells me, like, he goes, wow, babe, it's just like, he could see all the connections just being made, because I was just talking about it, clearing it, like, this is that, oh, now it makes sense. And I listened to your recording, too, because Shaina will give you a recording at the end of your session. And I remember when we were actually doing it in the present moment of session. I didn't, I was still in that more hypnotic state. So I wasn't fully, I was just being a part of the experience. But now, getting to reflect and getting to use that as a source of the now, more healing within myself. It really, truly, I personally listened to it, like I listened to it last night before I went to bed.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to for the next 90 days. And because it already, if you guys, so I didn't say, so fully, this morning I woke up, because mine was more focused on success and financial abundance and, more things within my personal, growth with my business. And I already had more sales this morning.
No way! Oh my God, you didn't tell me that! I'm so excited! Yes! That's incredible!
I already did. And I was
beautiful.
Like, I woke up and I go, because it's been, it's just now the energy's been changed.
Yeah, that's what I love. It's called Rapid Transformational Therapy for a reason.
I was like, almost like, wow, like I said, I know I already had new sales, like I already felt so much better just on a clearance level. Just the thoughts, since that belief has now been dissipated. It's like I feel the thoughts that are interconnected are now just the positivity and the light. And not any more of the limitations surrounding finances, surrounding allowing that frequency and the self-worth.
Definitely.
And there's still much more work to be done, but regardless, it is very rapid.
That's what's so beautiful about the work. It's just like it really opens your eyes to a new perspective, and things start flowing through because you start clearing all of that energy that's kept you stuck. So I'm so glad that that's amazing. This is the first time I'm hearing it too. I'm so excited for you. Well, that's so great.
We had to have the excitement on the show.
I like it. That works for me.
Well, so you guys, it's like I was saying before, personally, I've done, a lot of healing in my life. So this is just to even get to that next level for yourself. There's always more, like we were saying.
There's always work to do. We can always continue to optimize our life and clear old patterns and old wounds. Like, it never stops, but there's certain modalities that can help get you to where you want to be a lot faster, which is great.
And this is like we said, woke up, more sales.
That's incredible. I love that. Oh, that's the best.
And it's been, that energy really moved because it had been a little bit more stagnant. So that is proof, you guys.
Beautiful. I love it.
So you guys go check it out.
Please.
But also, Shaina, and then personally, I had done a sound bath. Shaina, so Shaina does sound baths every Sunday on her Instagram.
On Sundays at 11:11 a.m. PST.
And 11:11 too, you guys.
Had to. I had to.
We love it. Well, and I was so excited, to be a part. And this too, I've just been so guided, with Shaina. I've just been guided. I was like, having my Sunday, and I was like, going to do something else. And then I see she went live, and I accidentally went into your chat. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm already here. I'll just, I'll be a part of it. Oh, so no, I laid out, and then she starts going. And I'm like, wow, no, this is time. I'm going to receive. And I had cried. I released more emotion with my mother.
That's beautiful.
And it was like, I didn't realize the, amount of just pent up emotion I had taken on from other people. So that's what I found with, the sound baths. And if you can further explain, Shaina, what the sound baths can do for your mind, body, spirit?
Yeah, so with sound baths, so something that I figured out in my healing journey was RTT helped me find the root cause of everything and really opened my eyes to what I needed to work on and what I needed to do. But trauma also impacts our bodies. So that was another piece that I was still researching, and I found sound healing and breath work completely changed my life in that aspect. So like RTT helped me open my eyes to a new world and see things differently, but I still felt a little bit strange in my body. So that's when I started looking at different modalities. And so sound healing, the frequencies allow you to just calm your subconscious mind and body, and it turns on your body's natural healing systems. So that was a beautiful practice that I started doing that completely changed my life around and also helped with the pain that I was dealing with. And then breathwork was also another modality that just helped move that stagnant energy that we all have stuck in our bodies, and it helped me with the grieving process. I think that's what was beautiful about that work. You know, I couldn't so there was just times where like I tried to grieve over him and I couldn't, and I was just like, okay, like how do I move through these emotions if I like just do it naturally? And breath work and sound healing were those modalities that helped me to that space to release.
I love that. Well, that's powerful, Shaina. Yeah, because it is. I love how you said, I didn't really know how to grieve.
Yeah.
I feel like when we have, suppressed our emotions, we learn that behavior at a young age to actually feel.
It's like uncharted territory,
This is true. Same thing. Personal mechanism. Yeah. Traumatic events, it would, manifest for me.
I think seeing what my dad went through gave me so much compassion for people struggling with alcohol or prescription drugs, really any addiction. It's really just about being willing and able to face that trauma head on so that you can move to the other side. I think sometimes with addiction, you just get so lost in your head that you don't see the way out, and it almost seems like facing your trauma would be a lot scarier than just sitting with where you're at. But that's something that I'm trying to educate my clients or just my following, is that no, the beautiful work is like once you face the trauma, you get to the other side, with every contraction there's an expansion, and it's beautiful, fulfilling work. Like, yeah, in the thick of it, it might not feel great, but you wake up the next day and you're a new person and you can let it go. Like, that's a thing I think people don't understand. Yeah, is that with trauma healing, there's always work to do, but as you continue on, you start letting go of more stuff and start becoming the real you, and you feel like the real you, and you attract more amazing things into your life. The more inner work you do, the more incredible people you meet, or just synchronicities start to flow. Like, there's just so many beautiful things can happen once you start working through that trauma and releasing that pain.
Well, we absolutely, that's such a breath of fresh air. Thank you, Shaina.
Yeah, of course.
Because personally, and this is for people who are struggling, we all have different addictions in different forms. I'm a big advocate about that.
Yeah.
So I love when you just share, from your dad's experiences and what you learned, and being a support system and seeing that from the outside, and then doing your own healing, and gives you even bigger perspective on what he went through, and you can have a deeper relationship and just heal more of those wounds.
Yeah.
And, personally, it was like, when you're in the thick of, certain addictions, it's like, and speak personally, from substance abuse. When before you're about to make that leap, there's a side, fear usually that comes because you're about to become the best you. That's why you're so fearful. That's why. But where if we just start rewiring and reprogramming, when those feelings come up, as you said, because we're not taught how to deal with those types of feelings. So for us, it's like, oh, it's negative. It's not, oh, I might die, or did I, But we're not looking, we're not rewiring of like, oh wait, maybe that's an indicator that I'm about to hit something big.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I think people do. Change will always be scary to your brain.
Yeah.
Subconscious and conscious mind. Yeah.
I'm just so excited, you know, Shaina, because it's absolutely incredible when you allow yourself to be free.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's freedom is different. I was just speaking about this in a previous interview with another woman, and it's like, you know, I love hearing people's definition of freedom.
Yeah.
And, you know, how would you label freedom for yourself?
I think freedom is just understanding that we're always going to have that ego, we're always going to have that resistance, but being able to be okay with that, knowing that that's a part of human nature. I think there's so much stuff you read today about the ego mind, and it's so bad and this and that, and at the end of the day, your ego is just trying to protect you, you know, and I think having that understanding gives you that freedom.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Thank you.
Because it's true. It's like personally, you know, and teaching yourself to have love and compassion for the ego.
Yeah.
Because as you were stating, it's like all it's trying to do is protect you.
Yeah.
So you thank it, you know, teaching yourself to just, okay, thank you, ego,
exactly.
rather than fighting,
right? Yeah, you don't need to resist it. It's just thank you for, you know, popping up. I understand what you're going to do, but I'm going to choose differently. Because I think something we don't really understand is that we always have a choice. Like, we have the power to choose our thoughts. We have the power to let go of the ego mind and be like, hey, I hear you, I appreciate you, but I'm choosing differently. You know, it's all about understanding that balance and being able to work with it.
Oh, I love this. You know, it's it's beautiful too to see, Shaina, just your own personal transformations with all of the things you've learned. And now encompassing it in, as she was speaking about earlier, her Transformation Accelerator Program, which I love the name because that feels like, even yesterday as we were doing our session, I go, gosh, it feels like an acceleration of healing. And that was just the RTT aspect.
Right.
So getting to have the different aspects that you've, you know, learned from your own personal life that would work, as far as sound baths and breath work, which those powerhouses together.
They're amazing.
Oh, those are my... my personal two favorites. Yeah, breath work is
transformative, and I think what I personally love is you feel a shift immediately. I think us as humans, we love to have evidence, and breath work is one of those modalities that helps you be like, okay, things are shifting, you know?
Yeah, and it's so powerful because to feel your own energy centers. I feel that's really healthy for people, no matter where you're at on the journey. That's beautiful to be able to be in your body, and when you know, doing the actual breathwork exercise, you're feeling your energy centers. Yeah. And that in itself, just to feel your own energy centers.
It's a beautiful experience.
Because most of the time we don't, you know, when we were talking about earlier, distractions, we don't really even, we have energy centers. We forget.
We do, and breathwork just allows you to move that stagnant energy, that we all move through our emotions. We all need to move through the energy, and breathwork is just one of those practices that helps you get there. Yeah.
Love it. Well, and it's also too, Shaina, so after someone does your 3-month program, what's your intention for them from going on forward?
Yeah, so after the program, you have the option to join, I call it the Soul Collective, and it's like a membership group, and in that, it's basically $22 a month, so a low price to continue your breath work and sound healing, and you'd get discounted prices for RTT sessions in the future if you ever wanted to do them. But yeah, I just feel like the course kind of gives you that handbook on life of, okay, this is how you move through emotions properly. This is how you deal with trauma properly. It's just kind of a a life course 101 that most of us aren't taught. And then after those 3 months, you know, breathwork and sound healing are still just amazing practices to carry on, which is why I wanted to offer a membership site where you can continue those practices. But now that you understand how your mind works and body works, you won't need me as much, you know. Every once in a while you'll do an RTT session or, you know, breathwork, sound healing, but my goal is after those 3 months, you're just empowered to know that you can handle and solve any issue or anything that life throws your way.
Yeah. And that's what we love, because it's true. It's like, that's what we want, you know, just in general for ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to all feel empowered.
Yeah.
We want to all feel like we can do it on our own. Of course, we love to have guidance in many different forms, but allowing ourselves to know, you know what, like, I've done this, I did that work. That's what propels you forward on your path.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something we're losing in the therapy world, is this sense of empowerment, because I think a lot of people these days go to talk therapists and they just rely on them so much, you know. And what my therapy, what I'm trying to create and what I have created with my clients so far is understanding that you don't need me. That I'm going to teach you everything I know, and that you can run away with that. You don't have to wait on my hand and foot. After you understand how your mind and body works, you can walk away and be like, hey, I can handle this now. Like, I know what I need to do. I know what this emotion is telling me. You just start understanding things, and I think that's what's going to make people like happy again, or you know, just being able to move on with their life, knowing they don't need to rely on anyone but themselves. I think that is a crucial piece.
Yes. No, it's huge, because it is, you know, it's like, I feel like we are moving towards more of a frequency where it's going to be less dependencies.
Yeah.
And we see that, you know, with people. I've personally experienced it. Yeah, if it wasn't a substance before, it was a human. It was just dependent on everything, you know, outside myself. And it was like you said, that lack of like fulfillment and, you know, giving your power away. And then, you know, feeling like, oh yeah, when a situation does come up, you know, do I need this pill? Do I need this person? Do I need... And that's where it's like, okay, you know, going back within yourself, having those tools and developing that within yourself. Because I personally felt that, Shaina, after our session, you know, it was like after our RTT session yesterday, as we've been, you know, talking about before, I felt that with Shaina. You know, I felt this really just like, you're your own individual. Now, like, go do, you know, you have this for 90 days. And I was like, huh, you know, like, I really feel just this was now up to me as far as for the rest of my healing. And, you know, I had this great experience with her, but I did feel that like boundary for both of us. And it felt good though.
Yeah, I feel like with my sessions, because once you do an RTT session with me, you start seeing the world differently, and you start having epiphanies on your own. So that's what I always tell my clients after, is like, have a little note on, like, so that anytime an epiphany pops up, you write it down really quick, and just kind of have that empowering experience to be like, oh, I can attack this. Of course, you can always reach out to me, and my clients always, you know, touch with me and question. Have an epiphany but want to like unpack it further, that's what I'm there for. But I try to encourage that, you know, you'll find it within yourself, and that'll help you, so you won't need me all the time, you know. It's so empowering to start puzzling things together on your own, and then I'm just there to help or explain it further if you're not. So,
Well, having, like we're saying, just the toolbox.
Yeah,
you know?
Everyone needs a emotional mastery toolbox, and so having the empowerment piece helps you, you know, have that confidence in yourself to understand that you can handle it, or anything that you go through in life. But it is so important to have someone to hold space with, and that's why I love my RTT therapy. Is yes, I'm guiding you, but you're also allowing me to hear your vulnerability, which is a huge healing in and of itself, to know, because I think that's a huge part of healing, is being able to share your vulnerability, and sharing that with others, and knowing people will love and accept you for it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what I felt yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like that was a part of the experience.
Yeah, and so like we keep saying is like there's that balance of unpacking things on your own is really important, but also having someone there for you to hold that space is important. And even in my course, that's why I do breath work and group sound healing. So it does feel like a community, because we don't have to go through it all alone, you know, and that's what I try to do in my program is have a community of people, like-minded people that are doing the work on their own, but also healing together, which is such a beautiful thing.
Well, I also, you know, I saw that you just posted that we as humans actually need connection.
Yes. It's one of our psychological needs. We need to feel like we matter. We need to have a
As you
purpose.
said, to belong.
And we need to feel like we belong. So, yeah.
Well, especially during COVID, that can be, you know, limiting.
Not allowing your you see, you know, in person.
Friends, your family.
Yeah.
So having an online, you know, space with people, like you said, doing the same things as you, because even with your current friends or your family, if they're not maybe on the same, you know, journey as you are of your healing, it can be.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's, you know, the healing journey. You can't do it alone. That's something that I learned the hard way. I always, all my life, I went through a lot of trauma, and I was half full kind of girl, and was like, good vibes only.
We love that version of Shaina though, because she let her hear.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
You know, but, we love her.
Life has to slap you in the face with a chronic illness for you to realize, you know, hey, I do need to lean on people, and it's okay to lean on people, and it's okay to verbal. I think that's just is understanding that you don't have to go through it alone, and it's okay to let people in, and it makes the work that much more satisfying when you can work through it with other people too.
Well, and since your focus is on women, I feel like what we were speaking about earlier, as far as, you know, women's traits of being empathic and learning emotional, like, stability for themselves and allowing themselves that space, I feel like this goes further, you know, into that too, is, you know, some women are give to their families, to their friends, to their... Yes.
Absolutely. So it's that unlearning process of like, oh, I also need to learn how to receive and know that that's okay, and that's not greedy or malicious or anything negative. It's just how human nature needs to be. Like, everything needs balance. So it's just relearning those tools helps just make life so much easier.
Yes. And if there's things that, you know, we can do, Shaina, as far as morning practices or things that you recommend.
Something that I recommend is praising yourself every day. This is something Chanel and I talked about yesterday. Your mind actually takes on compliments so much better when you do it yourself, because when someone compliments you, there's still something in the back of your mind. You're not going to notice it because it's unconscious, but your mind doesn't fully receive a compliment from someone else, because it always thinks, oh, like, are they trying to get something out of me? Like, they don't, our minds don't fully let it in, and our minds will let in our opinion, and we forget that. So I think a practice that I highly recommend, I give it to every single one of my clients, and every single one of them has had radical boosts in their confidence and self-esteem, is compliment yourself every day. It sounds silly, it sounds so simple, but we don't do it, you know? And so it's, you know, it sounds, and like, you might be hearing this and be like, oh, I compliment myself, but it's like, do you?
Oh, I was one of those people. No, she told me yesterday, and I was like, well, you know, I do that mindfully. But when she said writing it down, when she said, I go, okay, yeah, I don't actually write it down. And it's been a big one that I personally noticed.
Yeah, and it literally takes 2 minutes out of your day. It doesn't have to be a novel or a love letter. It's just like, hey, I'm so proud of you for doing XYZ today, or you did amazing in this presentation. Whatever you had that day, even if you had a really bad day, saying, like, hey, like, there's going to be a view tomorrow, you're going to do great, like, whatever comes to mind, but being able to write that down and do that for just 2 minutes a day, every single day, it will change your life. All of my clients have been like, oh my God, like I didn't need this long morning routine or anything. I literally just say something nice to myself and write it down every single day, and it's changed my life.
Wow.
You know?
These small little things that can make big differences.
Oh yeah, it adds up. It's like, why not do it? You know? It's simple, but it's such a long way.
And her website.
It's ShainaRaeTherapy.com.
And also her Instagram
is the .transformation.therapist.
Which is super fitting for her, by the way. And is there anything else as far as Shaina that you would like to share with the viewers that, you know, maybe brighten their day or what you've got going on here next?
Yeah, so I have a few women in the Transformation Accelerator program right now. I'm about 25 women in, and we're in month 1. Yeah, we're so excited.
You just launched it, guys.
Yeah, I just launched, so everything's going really great, but you can sign up for the next upcoming enrollment. We don't have the date just yet, but if you go to my website, you can sign up, and when you sign up, you get basically red carpet VIP access to the next enrollment. So you'll be able to experience a group hypnosis, breathwork session, and a sound healing session, all for free before enrolling in the program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you guys might be a part of it with me, because I was thinking about doing it as well.
Yeah, I love that. I would love to have you on.
Yeah,
yes.
So, you know, I love what Shaina does. I absolutely love what she does. And it's, you know, I personally, when I really support, you know, someone who's doing things for the right intentions, it's truly because I believe in what they do. And I really believe in what Shaina's bringing forward for people, and I'm just really excited for you guys to check it out for yourself. And I've personally had big results if you guys have already listened throughout this program. So I really would advise just to even go check out her page. You get her spunky attitude, so much fun. She's purely herself, and it gives you a space to be yourself.
Thank you.
I'm just amazed. I keep, you know, her energy. So.
You're the best. Thank you so much for having me on your show and everything.
Oh, of course, Shaina. I appreciate you. And for the viewers, we love you, and just keep healing. It's worth it. Regardless of what you're currently going through, it is temporary, and it can always be healed.
Yeah, there's always a brighter future ahead. Just keep going.
So thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening. And catch us next time.